y'all? Welcome to the show. I'm Lemar LJ. What the hell are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about the NFL draft. Just happened. It's in the history books. And I can't believe that out of all the things that happened in the NFL draft that come up, like all the things that we've talked about, that the pick wound up being that pick. The first pick wound up being that pick.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused about it, but I understand.
Yeah, and by the way, we just finished watching the Game 7 of Cleveland, Indiana. Cleveland advanced to the next round, so I guess everybody's done with the first round. But yeah, all right, so we're going to get into the draft right now then. So yeah, Baker Mayfield went number 1 to the Browns. Saquon Barkley went number 2 to the Giants. Sam Darnold dropped to number 3 to the Jets. So those are the first 3 main stories. Me personally, I don't like Mayfield. I don't like the Browns passing up on Darnold for Mayfield. I think that was a big mistake. But Browns are the Browns. So what do you think about that? I don't like it.
Well, they didn't fall in love with Sam Darnold. You know, this quarterback class wasn't really that great for what I'm hearing. There's just a bunch of quarterbacks, and they feel as though this is their guy. They fell in love with him, so take him. You know, the fact that he's 6'1", you know, raises eyebrows. Well, a lot of people don't want to deal with somebody who's that short at the quarterback position. You know, but Sam Darnold, he raises some eyebrows because he gets a lot of turnovers, and you know, and he's from USC, so you know they don't have really the reputation of, you know, producing really great quarterbacks. You know, they produce really great running backs, especially the one who will not name. But me personally, I don't see a problem with it. They tried to make a splash, and they did. But for the number 4 pick, I was shocked that they didn't go to Bradley Chubb. So
yeah,
so they got a cornerback. I don't know. I don't know if that addresses a need.
Denzel Ward. They said that they needed one, but Bradley Chubb was like a can't miss prospect. Who was considered like, you know, the best defensive player in the draft. So it's like they really passed up on the best defensive player in the draft when everybody needs a pass rush, and you definitely need that more than you need a good corner.
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of sports shows this week, and one Cleveland fan said we had the number 1 and the number 4 pick. We picked the number 1 pick. We picked the 3rd best quarterback, and we picked the 4th best defensive player.
Now I think the Jets did good. I'm glad that they got Darnold. Like I was kind of happy that they got him. In the back of my mind, I root for the Jets here and there, so I was happy that they got the.
I never knew that.
Now, see, as far as Darnold goes, like they were saying that, you know, he throws picks, right? But that's something that can kind of be corrected, as opposed to like Baker. He's got like maturity issues, and I don't think that's something you want from your quarterback. You can accept that from any other position in the whole rest of football, but as your quarterback, you don't want your quarterback to have maturity issues. You know what I mean? Like with he was running from the cops and so on.
He got tased.
He's and all of that. He's putting the flag in the middle of Ohio State's field. He's grabbing his junk, grabbing his balls, and it's on camera. I'm like, those things all add up, and it's like, from your quarterback, you don't really want that. You barely want it from any other position, but you'll accept it from any other position. But your quarterback, you want your quarterback to show maturity. You want your quarterback to be boring. You know what I mean? Like, you want him to be boring but good. You don't want your quarterback to be talked about outside of making a great throw. So it's like, I don't know. But now the Saquon Barkley thing, I personally thought the Giants should have just, since Darnold was still available, I thought the Giants should have just went and got him. Like got Darnold. But But like some people kind of started to change my mind doing it because it's like they feel like Eli is still capable if you put the right pieces around him, which he is. We all know he can win. But I personally thought that you should already start looking for because they're not going to be this bad again. The Giants are never this bad. So like for you, I mean, they could always trade up and possibly whatever like they did to get Eli. But I just think when you have that opportunity to get supposedly the best quarterback in the draft, I think you don't pass up on that. But I don't know. Whatever.
But speaking as a Giant fan, I love the pick. If you don't, and Gettleman said he didn't fall in love with any of these quarterbacks in this draft. Mm-hmm. So getting them would have been a waste of time anyway when you've got a guy you're already in mind that you want. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the 2002 draft. I know I made that comparison a few weeks ago when you had, David Carr and Joey Harris, and, those quarterbacks they didn't pan out. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're number 1 and number 4. It just didn't pan out. They weren't good. Right. So I'm happy with the pick. I'm hearing so many good things about Saquon Barkley. They saying that this guy is so much is like going to be all pro every year, and they're already saying that he's the best running back in our division. I said this guy hasn't even played. He hasn't even got his number yet. Just calm down. Ezekiel Elliott is already out there. We'll see what happens. See if he doesn't get hurt. And I just don't want to put too much expectations on this kid.
Definitely have been running backs that have busted. So have been busted at running backs. So you don't want to assume too high. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, he's supposed to be good, but you don't want to go too crazy with the assumptions. But
as far as the draft goes, everyone pretty much addressed their needs. I think that Arizona sneaking in and getting Rosen was a good move for that.
On top of the fact that he went lower than what he wanted to, so he's motivated. That also helps.
Well, he has issues too when it comes to maturity.
Yeah, they all do. In terms of maturity, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in terms of maturity, but like that, I thought that was a good pick.
Yeah.
And the more I see of, I heard a story this week about Allen. Mm-hmm. Was the other quarterback who got drafted to from Wyoming, Josh Allen, who got drafted to Buffalo. I heard that a story about him with putting out racist Instagram.
Yeah, when he was in high school or something like that.
And somebody had that. Well, I think a team that wanted him, watch Buffalo, a team that wanted him had that in their back pocket and decided to put that out the day of the draft.
Yeah. People always do that shady bullshit, man. Like, don't do that. Like, if you're gonna do it, fine, but don't wait till his finest moment. Like, plus he was in high school. Come on, like, I think everybody in the world has said something that they ain't supposed to say in high school. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not holding that against him for something he said in high school when he was probably just having fun, or even if he wasn't. It's high school. He's doing immature stuff. He's a high school kid. So I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't think nothing of that. Like, don't do that. Now, as far as my Niners, at number 9, they picked a guard, Mike McClinchy. Very
good. You said that well.
outside of that pick, I mean, even with that pick, they said that there was a lot of players that were better on the board that the Niners kept passing up to address needs. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because sometimes you do want to address needs, but sometimes you just go out and get the best players, because it's not like we don't need. It's not like we're secure at any position but quarterback. Every other position we need help at. So they should have been looking to get the best players available. But at the same time, you do want to protect your multi-million-dollar quarterback. So I'm a little mixed on it. Like, they're saying there's a lot of guys ahead that they should have gotten. Like Minka Fitzpatrick, they said we could have used him. There was a couple other guys out there that they should have went after, but whatever. Protect the quarterback, and then next year maybe we can get a good pass rusher, and we'll be all right.
Well, to be honest with you, I think you did the right thing. Whenever you pick up we have a quarterback, a great quarterback, or even a good quarterback, or a future quarterback, you have to protect them. Right. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to make a draft pick in the first round, you got a good quarterback, just protect them. Mm-hmm. get linemen, get wherever you want. Everything else will fall into place. Once you have a great quarterback, everything else pretty much falls into place.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely.
Your defense plays better when you have a great quarterback, even no matter who you have.
You're right. Yep. Look at Green Bay once Aaron Rodgers went down. Like all of a sudden, they was giving up more points. Like everything fell apart. They like you said, once you get that guy, it raises everybody's level. So yeah. And then Lamar Jackson was the fourth quarterback to go. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the fifth quarterback. There was four in the top 10, and then Lamar Jackson was the fifth quarterback to go in the first round. He went at the very end of the first round of Baltimore. And New England was rumored to have interest, but they passed up on him twice in the first round. And the Ravens, who look like they might be done with Flacco after this season, they drafted Lamar Jackson, so that's a perfect situation where they can let him sit like they said he needed to sit for a little while. He's going to sit, and then he'll probably take over next season and not re-sign Joe Flacco. So
I heard something interesting about Joe Flacco. This is from another Giant fan. He said, how much would I bet Joe Flacco is going to be a Giant next year? I said, please don't say that. And he said they got Lamar Jackson. He's going to sit there for a year, and they're going to release Flacco, and Eli's going to be retired. They're not going to re-sign Eli after that season, so they're just going to probably take Flacco for a year or two. I'm like, oh boy. I just want to see what.
I was gonna say they'll probably just go with the young guy, Davis Webb.
Well, there's another guy we drafted who was another quarterback who was supposed to go in the first round. We got him in the fourth or fifth round. Lauletta from Richmond. He's from a small school. So everyone's saying, "Oh, that's a quarterback of the future." I'm like, just calm down. We don't know who anybody's going to be until we see them on the playing. So. As far as the draft winners go, I don't know who won the draft. They're giving us good grades just based on Barkley.
They give Arizona a good grade too for moving up and getting Josh Rosen.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is going to be a really good team.
That depends on their quarterback too, though.
Well, it depends on the quarterback, but they got a pretty tough defense too. I'm looking forward to watching them next season. And if you notice, the value of wide receivers has gone down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Only two got drafted in the first round, I believe they said. One. I'm sorry, Ridley, and that's it. But they also said that it wasn't a good receiver class. Oh, was too? Yeah. And they also said it wasn't a good receiver draft anyway. They said that coming in that there's not that many good receivers out there, so this was mostly a running back draft and a quarterback draft. After that, I mean, and even a quarterback there, it was like 5 of them that was on the board that was to be taken, but everybody's not 100% sold on them. But there's 5 of them, you know what I mean? So like nobody knows how good they're gonna be. So
and in the next few years, there are going to be a lot of holes opening for teams that need quarterbacks. There's going to be New England. That should be within a year or two. I don't care what Tom Brady says. He's not going to last till he's 45. That's just not going to happen.
Probably not.
There's New England. There's New York Giants. There's Pittsburgh.
Baltimore.
There's Baltimore. There's New Orleans. There's Jacksonville. There's San Diego.
You got to figure Green Bay eventually, because how old is Aaron Rodgers?
He's 34, 35.
Yeah, he's probably got about 5 more years. I'll say about 3 or 4.
Do you think he's going to play for that long?
I think it depends on Green Bay. I think if they don't put a good team around him, because he's carrying that roster. Like, they don't have a lot of talent on that roster, so he's carrying it. So if they don't improve the roster, then he probably will go earlier, because they're just gonna. Well, I don't know. I have to think after a certain amount of years you can't get franchised, or it's either that or you can't, or maybe, it's either a certain amount of years or I guess if you've been franchised before, then because it was somebody that they said Drew Brees, they said could be franchised. Was he franchised before?
I think he might have been.
Okay, that's probably why. Okay, so yeah, I don't agree that you can franchise somebody twice. I don't in a row. Like you could didn't they do that to Kirk Cousins? Didn't they franchise to like you can't you shouldn't be able to do it twice. You should only be able to be franchised once. I don't like that franchise tag.
Yeah, Washington's going to need another quarterback. I mean, Alex Smith is okay, but he's not your quarterback of the future.
Right.
He's nobody's quarterback of the future.
It's just,
he's going to be there for a season or two until you. But I predict that Washington's going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
I predict that. Yeah. I have no faith in any of the Grudens. So
speaking of Oakland, I think they gave Gruden way too much money, way too many years. And I'm just like, first of all, he had the one good year on it, and that team was already built.
He had a stacked roster.
Yeah, he already had a roster.
He had a stacked roster full of veterans, Hall of Famers.
And look at him as this genius. And I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but really, I was giving him 10 years, and I'm like, they gave him way too much for somebody who hasn't been coaching in a long time.
He hasn't been a coach in a long time. Number one, number two, like when he was a coach, he won a Super Bowl, fine, with another guy's team. And was he really that good afterwards? No,
like
he wasn't.
After a couple of years, when a lot of those players weren't the same players that he inherited, they weren't that good. Like
and you know, like he got Jeff Garcia after Jeff Garcia was already old by the time he got there, but you know they got to the playoffs and they used to get just eliminated. So I'm not seeing what everyone else is seeing when it comes to John Gruden. That he's supposed to be
worth so much.
He's worth so much money. He's this quarterback. Who was the quarterback that he had that he was a quarterback guru of? Who? Yeah, Brad Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, Brad Johnson was already a decent quarterback. He was a regular guy. You know what I mean? And that's all Tampa's defense needed was a guy that wasn't Trent Dilfer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just needed somebody that was better than Trent Dilfer. So. And they got that, and then Trent Dilfer ended up going to Baltimore and doing what he couldn't do in Tampa. But yeah, I'm like, I just don't get the fascination.
Yep.
So what do we got next up? I guess we'll talk a little bit about the playoffs. Yeah, like I said, LeBron and Cleveland just advanced, beating Indiana today. And the second round actually started yesterday with the Spurs beating up on New Orleans, which we already knew that was going to happen. And Boston also
I didn't know that was going to happen.
So I did. I mean, at least the first game or two. Maybe when they get back home, it'll be competitive. But I don't expect them to do much against them. Boston won their game 7 yesterday against Milwaukee.
I expected that.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say I totally expected that either, but it was like when you're at home, I expected them to win. Like Milwaukee was trying to hang in there for a little while, then they just couldn't. I thought that they would make it a close game. Boston should not have really been winning the series when.
That's what happens when you got great coaches.
Yeah, Brad Stevens is an absolute beast. Like you can't do nothing to, him and Greg Popovich are like the best coaches in the NBA. Like, and that's it. Like nobody else. And then everybody else.
And when Greg Popovich retires, which he might actually do within the next thing.
Is Kawhi Leonard getting on his nerves?
Well, yeah, that his wife just died,
right?
So. Right. And he's not a young guy. He's old.
No, he's 66, I believe.
Yeah,
and he don't had a full great Hall of Fame career. So it's not.
He has 5 championships. You know, like he may want to win one without Tim.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan. There. Even though.
But he's not going to. He's always gonna be good, and if his team, as long as his team was healthy, he would like. I think if Kawhi Leonard was there, they would be the second best team in the West.
And think about this: like he made the playoffs with that team,
right? They almost won 50 games without Kawhi Leonard, without a star player. Well, Orange is good, but he's not a star. Like he's not a superstar player. So I mean, he's got a good enough roster, and they almost won 50 games. And this is the best coaching job he did this year. Like this was the best coaching he's did in his career. without any great player on his roster, and he did this good. So I don't know. And OKC doing what they do, they disappoint you.
Westbrook, he cares about stats and stats alone.
And Carmelo cares about Carmelo alone.
and Paul George cares about going to LA.
Yeah, Paul George has already packed his bags. he's on his way to LA now.
well, if I'm LA, I'm looking at what he did in the playoffs. Like, hold up,
right. Now, granted, like he had some good games in that series though. He had at least three. I think he had like 3 30-point games, or at least 2 30-point games, and one and a couple of 20-point. Yeah, but his game 7, he came really small. But me personally, I'd like to see him go to Philly. I think that's a good fit.
I actually heard that too.
That's a good fit. I think he wouldn't be dependent on to have a big game there, but he could still put up good numbers there. He's a good defensive player. I think he would fit in. I think he's the perfect fit for that team. They already got 2 star players. Plug him in there, and they're in the finals next year. They might be in the finals this year. Like I could see, like after seeing how Cleveland has so much problems with Indiana, I could see them even losing to Toronto in the second round. Like I could see them losing to Philly in the conference finals. I could see.
I'm counting. I'm counting on Philly beating them in the conference finals, but I don't want. I'm not counting on it. I'm just saying I think it's going to happen. I don't want Philly to win because I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah,
and they already won the Super Bowl, and I can't. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Philly already. And then
Villanova.
Then Villanova just won, and what is this? Yeah, but I'm completely on board with Philadelphia fans eating horse shit again.
I can see them look like. Well, they look like as a city. They going on like how the Boston went on a run a few years back. The Red Sox won, the Bruins, everybody was winning. The Patriots, of course. Like I'm like, damn. Everybody they went on no city has ever went on a run like that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they won a bunch of championships in like a 5-year stretch where they was winning everything. I was like, man, like I would love for my teams to go on a stretch like that.
Yeah, I would actually. If the Knicks won, well, number one, I've seen the Giants win within the past few years. So
I've seen a lot of teams win, but the Knicks.
I'm talking about actually go to parade and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If the Knicks won, that would make that whole year for me. Like I would go back and watch games. I couldn't wait until the next season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll go back and just watch old games, like see what they did, watch the playoff game. Like that would be my total. I'll be everything.
I'd be living that moment forever. For real.
Yeah. So
it'll take me a while to come off of that high.
Yeah. That. It's always the best. The best one's always the first. You know. Yeah. When I actually saw the Giants win the Super Bowl when I was in your apartment when you were upstairs.
Yeah.
And I jumped up and down. Your father called. And
That's
yeah,
that was. Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm tired of this shit.
Stupid. What else I wanted to get into? This was about a week ago now, but Eric Bledsoe was getting outplayed the whole series by Terry Rozier from Boston. First of all, you get outplayed. Second of all, you go during the press conference, he's like, who? I don't know who the F that is. I'm like, really? You don't know who the guy is that's busting your ass? Like just 10 minutes ago. You don't know who that guy is?
I have no. To be honest, I have no idea why they got him. It baffles my mind. They
got better when they got him.
Well, to be honest with you, they had the Rookie of the Year and Malcolm Brogdon, who's a big point guard. If they don't want him, I'll take him. I'll take him.
I don't know anything about that guy. I don't know nothing about him.
I know, but he won Rookie of the Year in the year when the rookie sucked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That
it would have been Ben Simmons, right? If Ben Simmons was
Ben Simmons was there, it would have been Ben Simmons with a runaway.
Yeah.
Now it's not Ben Simmons in a runaway. Now
it's going to be him or Donovan Mitchell.
It's going to be both of them. I think they're going to do Cobra every year.
I think that's how it should be. Because to be honest, if I had to vote, I probably would give it to Ben Simmons. But I wouldn't feel that great about that because Donovan. You see what Donovan Mitchell is doing in the playoffs? Like this dude, like I haven't seen a rookie play this well in the playoffs. Like scoring and just being the man who he is. He's the man.
I've not seen that ever. Like as far as rookie goes, I've not like rookies usually don't do that.
Right. He is a beast, dude. Like I get to really watch him because nobody watches Utah during the regular season, but I was watching him like, man, he outplayed Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo all put together in fourth quarters. Like he outscored them in the fourth quarter all put together. I'm like that shouldn't be. That should not be. These cats, all three of these cats have all been to the conference finals before. And y'all getting outplayed by a rookie who's never been in the playoffs before.
Well, that's the thing about that team, and it starts from Westbrook. Yeah. You're not going to win with him. Yeah. They're in a terrible position, Oklahoma City, because they have to keep him.
Yeah, they have to. They have nothing else.
They have nothing else. They're not going to get any free agents coming over here. They drafted well 3 times. Mm-hmm. They drafted really well. They got 3 MVPs on their team. On their team at one point. Imagine if they would stay together. Mm-hmm. But
they might have won by now.
They would have won by now. They
might have won at least one by now. Them and Golden State would have had some classic battles back and forth, and they probably would have won more than Golden State.
You think they would have beat Cleveland that year? That Cleveland won?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like that would have been. That was if they still had all 3 of them.
Yes.
I think they would have. I think it would have been a good chance that they would have beat them. Yeah.
And when people leave Russell Westbrook, they seem to prosper.
Big time. Oladipo and Sabonis,
Harden,
James Harden, Durant. Even Durant was great already, but now he's more efficient. Now his field goal percentages are up.
Yeah, like you had to kind of rein him in. Yeah. But no coach is going to do that because he got more power than them. You can just tell them to get out and that's it. Because I'll miss a triple double. It doesn't mean anything. Your triple double doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, triple double thing is it's like they have the value of triple double is dropping because of him. I mean, for one, there's more possessions nowadays, so everybody plays up tempo, so there's more possessions, so there's more stats to be had. So somebody made a point. It was like, who's the rookie for Philly who just came back from the shoulder? He had a triple double. Fultz, Markelle Fultz. He had a triple double in a playoff game. I'm like, man. I'm sorry, was it the playoffs? I think it was the end of the season. But he had a triple double.
They put him at shooting guard, or I haven't paid attention.
I don't know what position they play him at, but he comes off the bench. I know that.
Okay.
So next year, who knows? He still can't shoot though. So you can't really start him and Ben Simmons because they both can't shoot. So. You're better off until he can shoot. You're better off keeping him off. He's good at going. He go hard to the basket.
That's always been his game.
Right.
He's always been like a scorer. But you can put Ben Simmons at the point, and put him at the shooting guard, and have him be a scorer. Just because you can't shoot, just because you're having problems shooting doesn't mean you can't be a shooting guard. You can't be effective because Dwayne. That's what they compared him to Dwayne Wade.
Right.
And I believe them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the comparison because when I watch him play, he does kind of remind me of Wade.
That'll be a really, really great Ben Simmons. We mentioned Ben Simmons, but this guy is just great. Yeah. I would love to have Ben Simmons because you can just build a team around him.
Yeah.
He just does everything as far as he's not LeBron. Because he can't score like LeBron, but he's just like a point guard, and he's a complete point guard.
Speaking of, now since we're on the subject, is he gonna be like the new number 1 guy in the league? when LeBron's no longer there, or is he gonna be the new face of the league?
I think to be honest, it should be Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is too ugly to be a face of the league. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure who they're going to put down as the face of the league.
He's not going to be face of the league. Face of the league is going to be somebody, first of all, who's going to be good every year. Anthony Davis doesn't make the playoffs every year. For one.
Well, he got out the first round, so like, and he played really, really well. Like
he was great.
Putting up those type of big numbers, so.
But if you're going to be the face of the league, you got to be consistently in the playoffs and consistently getting out of the first round. So this is the first time getting out of the first round. He's been in the league like 5 years. And this is only the second time making it to the playoffs. This is the first time winning a playoff game, let alone a series. So, like, I don't think he'll be the face of the league. I could, like, Ben Simmons as a rookie getting this team to almost 50 wins. Like, I could see him being the face of the league. Like, I'm not going to go ahead and say he will be yet. It's like, because look at Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, as great as he looks, it could be like another Magic Bird situation where you got two faces of the league or one in each conference, just like lighting it up. Like, we'll see what happens. They're both rookies and they both got their team out of the first round. So we'll see what happens. And by the way, speaking of like Utah, there's just like, it doesn't matter who they lose. Like that, their coach Snyder. He's an underrated coach because they always make the playoffs, or at least come close to making the playoffs, no matter what. They don't get big free agents. They don't make big trades. They just draft guys and it works out. Like, and they're always relevant, even though nobody cares much about Utah. They're always in the mix. So, like them in Portland or two of those teams are just always in the mix, no matter what happens. They lose free agents. Whatever happens, people get hurt. Whatever, they're still right there. Like, I don't know how they do it, but that's good coaching is a big part of it. And it's just getting the right type of players. But they're always in the mix.
Yeah, how long do you think Golden State's run is going to be?
I don't know, but it's not gonna be that much longer. It seems like I don't think they're gonna they're getting hurt a lot, and like I don't know. I just don't see them being around much longer. I mean, like as being dominant, I should say. They're gonna be around as long as they got Curry, Durant, and but they can't stay healthy, and like I can see them winning this year and even next year, and then that might be it. Like that, like. Somebody else is gonna step up. Somebody else is gonna.
It's gonna be Philly. The younger teams I can see stepping up. Well, in the West, Utah. That's something.
Yeah, I can see that. Right, I can see that.
Utah's gonna step into that spot. If they can, they're not gonna get free agents because no one wants to play in Utah as a free agent. So if they can keep this kid going and just build a team around him, but as far as like dominating the league, he's not everyone knows who he is now. Right. So next year they're gonna be gunning for him.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of
he's gonna be better next year though.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like when I don't want to make another Nick comparison, but in the beginning of the season when Porzingis was averaging 29 points a game, everyone just got up on him and pushing him out of his, and then he just didn't want to take the shots anymore, or he would just back up, and that was it. Yeah. Donovan Mitchell, I think it's more of a American thing. Donovan Mitchell. I think that if they try to push him around, he's going to push right back.
Yeah, he's built. I think he's built for it. Like Porzingis is skinny and not that strong. Mitchell's strong enough. He's built for it. Like he's not a frail little dude. Like. He's built for this. He goes hard to the basket already. Like, you know what I mean? So he don't have no hand. And then look what he's doing in the playoffs. Like where the game gets way more physical, and the refs let a lot more go, and he's excelling. He's doing even better. So he'll be fine. Like he's gonna be, he's like. I can't wait to see him 5 years from now where he's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like,
as long as he's injury free, we're good. He's good, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you also got Devin Booker out there.
Yeah, but as long as he's in Phoenix, maybe they'll do a Philly thing where they'll get another good player and then they'll be ready to start winning. Who knows? But they've been tanking, and they don't look like they're anywhere near ready to go anywhere. So until his team gets better, they ain't gonna be talking about much of Devin Booker. moving. Let's see what else. Who else in the playoffs that we didn't talk about yet? Spurs series. So Cleveland's got Toronto next. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Cleveland's probably gonna win that one in 7. I'll say. I'm gonna give Cleveland in 7. They're gonna win a road game in Toronto.
I think they're gonna win in 6. I give Indy more props than because they actually have a superstar. You know what I'm saying? DeMar DeRozan is a star, but do I think that he steps it up in the playoffs?
Well, Philly don't. I mean, Indy don't got no superstar either.
Well, I think Oladipo might be.
Nah, he's no superstar. He's a really good player. He's the second tier offensive guy. He can ball, but he ain't no superstar. He had some bad shooting games in this series, by the way. Indiana as a team played really good defense in this series, and plus Cleveland's offense is just not that good this year. All
right, then Houston. How about that? Houston, they're going to be hard to beat. And Chris Paul, is this his first time or second time out of the first?
He's been out of the first round more than twice, I believe, but
he's been out of the first round, but I think he's never been out of the second round.
Yeah, he's never made it to the conference finals, right?
And James Harden, he made it to
James Harden made it to the finals,
but not by himself.
And D'Antoni's made it to the conference. But I think they'll definitely be in the conference finals. They shouldn't. I don't see them. When do they start? They must start tomorrow against Utah. But I think Utah's gonna give them. I think that might be 7.
I think that's what I think too, because D'Antoni don't play defense. When you don't play defense.
Well, they were number 6 in defense this year. They play defense, so they're that's not a thing for them anymore. I still don't totally trust them yet, but it's not because they just don't play no defense. They play defense, but I mean, I've seen them get out of the first and second round before. So, let's see if they even if they lose to Golden State, if they compete, it should go no less than 6 games. If they don't win at least 2 games in that series, then same old Harden, same old D'Antoni, and I guess you could say same old Chris Paul. But I just don't think Chris Paul plays that bad to play. I just think his teams weren't getting there. But I don't consider Chris Paul like a bad playoff player. I did consider James Harden that this year so far he's been solid. But we'll see. It's first round. We'll see what happens when they do play against Golden State. I just want to see them compete. I would like for them to beat them, but I would just like to see them compete against them in the way that they should, being the number 1 seed, have a home court advantage, and win as many games as they did. They need to put out a good showing at least. But nobody's gonna be mad at them for losing to Golden State. Is that all we did? What's the other series? Boston and who else won? The East is so not even relevant.
Philly,
Boston, Philly, right? That should now. Being that Boston put out a good showing, I expect them to compete. But I'm gonna pick Philly. I'm gonna pick Philly.
Yeah, it's gonna be 7 games, but you need the superstars. You need Kyrie. You need these guys. It's hard to say because they won without him.
Yeah.
But you need those guys against other superstars.
If Kyrie and Brendan Hayward was healthy, they'd be going to the finals this year.
Yeah, I would, and it would be kind of like.
And it would be a good series.
I'm talking about if they played. If they played Cleveland, then they beat Cleveland.
They would beat Cleveland in 6 or 5. I'll say 6. Just out of respect for LeBron, I would say 6. I think LeBron could win 2. LeBron's good enough to win 2 games.
And LeBron will take off his jersey after the game and say, "Oh, I'm going to Boston now."
But yeah, I think next year the East is going to belong to Philly and Boston easily. There's no going to be them 2 and then everybody else. Even if LeBron stays put, they would have to make some serious major changes for me to believe that they're gonna that team as constructed now is gonna beat Philly and Boston next season.
Well, they can try to get Paul George too. Yeah,
they would have to make some trades, but yeah, I guess I suppose.
Well, they can be. They can send. They can send what's his face, Jordan Clarkson.
Well, Paul George is a free agent, so it's not like Oklahoma has to. I mean, I guess
No, I'm talking about sending him away. I'm not saying like trade him. I'm talking send him away somewhere, try to make him
try to
trade.
get expired contracts or something
Right.
like that. Yeah. As far as I think that's it, right? As far as the playoff picture. So let's move on to well, I want to talk about Dez Bryant. Like he still can't find a team. There was one team interested, Baltimore, and they wanted to sign him for multi-years, either 2 or 3 years, but he didn't want that. He wanted to sign for 1 year for a lot of money, so he can prove himself and get a bigger contract next season. But I guess they were probably gonna give him a little bit of money, but they were gonna sign him multiple years. And he said, "No, I want a 1 year deal." Like usually it's the exact opposite. Usually players don't want no 1 year deal. They must have not. I'm guessing they probably didn't want to offer him a lot of money, but he's not worth a lot of money right now. So I think he's crazy for turning down the one team that's interested. Well, I mean, especially so late into the process. Now, if Dallas would have cut him earlier, and then this was earlier in the process, then maybe. But like, not that many teams are interested right now. I mean, I'm sure there may be somebody, but I don't know.
Well, he knows he's going to get some bites. He's still young. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not like a locker room like bad guy or nothing like that. He doesn't get in trouble that much outside. He hasn't been in trouble in a couple of years.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a while.
It's been a few years, you know. So he's okay when it comes to that. But he said he wants to play for the NFC East somewhere. I'm like, all right, well, Philly doesn't need you. They can't afford you anyway. The Giants, I'd take him, I guess, but it's not really. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be a nice number 2.
I don't know if having him and Odell Beckham would be a good idea.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's another thing.
Yeah, I don't know if those two personalities should be on the same team.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's there, or Washington. Why do you want to play for Washington?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're playing for a contract and you're playing with Alex Smith, you're not going to get those long balls. But I guess you're going to have to do a lot of run and catch, a lot of catch and run.
Well, see, the problem with him is, from what I hear from like the experts, they're saying that he's not he doesn't have any speed. His hands aren't good. So it's like he's just started first time in his career like working with somebody, a wide receiver specialist coach. So it's like to really hone his skills. I'm like, so he doesn't have a lot of speed. He doesn't have really good hands. So he's a tough receiver, but it's like you got to find it's all about fit with him, because it's like you can't him just going to any team isn't going to work. I think Baltimore was an okay fit or whatever, and I think he should have just tried to make that work. But I just don't see that many teams knocking on his door. I can't find too many fits for him. Like if New England signed him, now I would have confidence that they could find something, find a way to use him correctly. But
they probably won't use anybody.
Right. But anybody else is like, I don't really like. For instance, San Francisco, I don't really want them to get him, but they don't need him anyway. They got Garcon, they got Goodwin, they just drafted a couple receivers. They just drafted a speedy slot receiver who broke the record for most punt return touchdowns in NCAA history. I can't think of his name right now. They drafted him in the second round. But so I don't know. So I don't think they're really looking for anybody anyway. But I just don't see really too many teams that'll. I can see maybe the Jets signing them. The Jets like to sign guys like that, and that wouldn't be the worst thing either. By the way, that wouldn't be a terrible fit. But I don't know. He'll find a team. But I just wouldn't be turning down teams. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Not knowing what my future is, I wouldn't be turning down teams. Sometimes players think that. I mean, he was good. He was really good at one point, but even during the season, people were saying is he considered a good receiver anymore? I was like, damn, is that bad?
yeah, it was that bad. Like he didn't get any separation.
Mm-hmm.
He just shows no type of.
And Romo knew how to use him, but I can't think of names right now. Dak Prescott, he doesn't use them that much. He just goes with who's open.
Well, guess what? They may need him again because Jason Witten retired.
Yeah, but I think that was an addition by subtraction too at this point of his career. Jason Witten was great, but
Jason
he was another one that they said was like couldn't hang anymore. Like, so.
Well, no, I didn't hear. I heard the exact opposite. I heard Jason Witten, like he was a little bit hurt last year, but Jason Witten, he's always like the security blanket for these quarterbacks because he's always wide open.
Well, but I don't think he was used that much. I don't think Dak Prescott used him that much either, though. So it's like he's like, I think those two guys were like, they needed to move on from them and get younger. You know what I mean? Like, get younger, get faster, and get more athletic. So I don't know. Did they do that in the draft? But I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I didn't. But
I don't know what they did, but I'm not really big on Dak Prescott.
He's an average quarterback. He's not what that rookie year was. He's probably closer to what his second year was. And by the way, his second year wasn't that bad. It's just that it wasn't his first year. You know what I mean? His first year, he was so good. So, but he's probably going to be closer to what his second season was. And he wasn't bad. He's a regular quarterback. He's a young quarterback, so he still got room to grow. But he's going to be a great guy. And
that's the thing. Like, you need a great quarterback to do well in this league. So,
I think it depends.
Well, they do have Ezekiel Elliott, and if he stays out of trouble, if he stays uninjured, then they can use him the same way that they use, Tony Dorsett back in the day, just run the fucking ball and pass on those downs to Cole Beasley. Like, is Cole Beasley even part of the team anymore?
Barely. See, that's the thing. Like, we just named 3 of the guys that catch balls for them, and none of them had a good year. Witten, Dez Bryant, or Beasley, none of them had a good year. So, but again, Dak didn't have a great year either. So we'll see how he comes out this year. They need to get, part of the problem was Elliott not being around for, so they need that running game. They need the offensive line. But and going back to what you said about having a great quarterback, I don't think you necessarily need a great quarterback all the time. Like, I just think if you got a good solid offense and defense, and you got a decent quarterback, you can win with a decent quarterback. But the rest of your team has to be pretty good. You have to be a top 10 defensive team, and you got to not turn the ball over. You know what I mean? You got to be that type of team. But I don't know. You can win more than one ways.
Well, going back on the great quarterback thing, how many great quarterbacks are in this league under 30?
Under 30? None. Russell Wilson's probably the closest to being great.
He's not really.
He's the closest to being great. I think Russell Wilson is very underrated still. Like,
he's clutch, but he doesn't put up the numbers that I would say like is a great quarterback numbers. You know what I'm saying? I hate to be a numbers whore, but he needs to put up those numbers in order to be considered like great. Like, Matt Ryan already put up those numbers. He's over 30.
I was about to say he's over 30 now.
He's over 30. There are none.
There's no under 30 quarterbacks that are considered great.
And so
I think Andrew Luck could have been if he was healthy.
Yeah, but he's never healthy because they never gave him any help. And if the trend keeps going this way, then the league's gonna go back to the way it was.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the league. I don't think there's any great. I don't think there's a lot of Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's, Drew Breeses, but I think there's a lot of really good quarterbacks. I think Carson Wentz has a chance to be top tier.
I'm talking about historic guys who get like 5,000 yards. When you got the guys throwing the ball, when you got like the entire offense created around this guy who's throwing the ball 40 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, they need running backs now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of trending back to where it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a period where you had all these great quarterbacks in a row who came out who were just great, so you got used to it. So now we haven't really had a great quarterback come out since Caveman in Indy. If he stays stays unhurt, and they put some guys around him, they can actually.
They say he still hasn't thrown the football yet.
He's been hurt for like 2 years,
and he still hasn't thrown the football. I'm like, man, like that he might be damaged goods. But we'll see. Like I think they're just taking their time with him and all that. But we'll see. If in a couple months, if he's still ain't throwing the football yet,
he might as well call it a career.
Yeah,
and that's pretty sad.
Yeah, because I think he was on the verge of being a great quarterback. And like I said, Carson Wentz I think is gonna be something special. I don't think Jared Goff is that special. I think he's a solid quarterback.
I'd like to see what your quarterback does next year.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G got a shot at being something special. It's way too early to tell with him. It's like he's undefeated as a starter still, in New England and San Francisco. He hasn't lost a start yet, but
he will lose starts. If he doesn't, then if he doesn't lose a start, then I'll start watching football. After like 3 seasons, I'm like, all right, well.
And to be honest, as much as you could look at that number. He had that during that stretch with San Fran, he had threw that 7 touchdowns and 5 picks. It wasn't like his numbers were blowing you out the box, but like they said about quarterback, like we were saying earlier about quarterback making everybody better. All of a sudden, the defense played better. All of a sudden, the special teams were better when he took over. We were 1 in 10 when he took over, I believe, and then we just won all the rest of our games. Like he definitely looked like he just uplifts everybody. He's got that leadership, and he shows it. Time out. No, come on, because I was about to check. Is it still recording?
Yep.
You still see the time ruler?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Talk to you guys.
That's all right, because we've been stopping in between. I'm gonna edit it. You going out the door?
Oh yeah, someone put some sneakers on. Oh yeah, I'll be waiting.
Kind of, yeah, because we don't want to hear the door slam and all that.
Okay. Nah, so much.
Hurry up! It's like, no, we can literally leave at 5:25. It's right on Evergreen.
This?
Do I gotta bring my gun with me?
Don't worry, I'm taking the car.
Okay. I don't care what you take. Take the truck. Let me check the time. It's 4:53. Let me check the time right here. 53 and a half. What was we talking about?
We're talking about the quarterback.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about with that before? Yeah. Oh, I did want to talk about Gronkowski and Brady. All right, 3, 2, 1.
I can't take the car.
Huh?
I can't take the car. You got it blocked in with the truck.
Oh, so just take the truck. Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, so moving on. Rob Gronkowski and Brady didn't go to OTAs. Gronk was he was right at Gillette Stadium in New England for the motocross, doing dirt biking and all of that. And he's just kept talking all excited about that. You could tell that he's trying to send a message. The way he was talking during the interview, during the press conference. He's like, basically like, yeah, they asked him, football coach, he's like, oh, I just want to do this motocross, I'm about to just do this, blah, 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 I just want to race. And they're like, well, what about OTAs? He's like, oh, as soon as I do this racing, I'll get back to that. Like, he's definitely making a point that he's not going to play by Belichick's rules. And Brady, by the way, was in Qatar during the OTAs, and he's back, I think, now, but he didn't, and the rumor is that he wants a new contract now. Like, so now he's got them by the balls. Like, all right, well, you ain't got no backup. you never give me the respect that I deserve. Now I want to get paid. I always took pay cuts. I want to get paid now, and I want a contract extension. So
I'm not giving it to him. If I'm Bill Belichick, this is my last year in New England. I'm not giving him anything. You know, like he already made me give away somebody I had faith in. He went over my head to ownership, who he's happy with and who love him, to kind of fuck me over.
He's probably gonna go over his head to get the contract too.
Yeah, he's gonna go over his head to get the contract. All right. You can have the contract. See if you win without me. I can find somewhere else to land. Hopefully it's New York, but we just got to coach. But Bill Belichick is being kind of disrespected here, and this is coming from someone who think he's overrated now because of how he lost the Super Bowl. But yeah, he's being kind of disrespected now because you have to pay Tom Brady, and he's 40. I'm not paying a 40-year-old quarterback. I'm not giving you a big contract. Give you a 1-year deal. If you don't want to take it, I mean.
Well, I don't know if he wants a really long contract, but I think he wants more money because he's been taking pay cuts for years. So I guess he's like now, like to your point, he's like, well, I did my part in the Super Bowl. Like we didn't lose because of me. He was like, I did everything I was supposed to do, and you made some coaching blunders, and I want to get paid now. Like I'm done taking pay cuts, and I don't blame him. And I'm with him on that. Like now, I wouldn't give him no 4 or 5 year deal. I'm giving him because I think he's a free agent after next season.
Franchise him. How about that?
That would be messed up.
What's he gonna do?
So wrong.
What's he gonna do?
So wrong.
I'll franchise him twice.
But I don't think the ownership's gonna do that. So I think he's gonna get trumped one more time, and Brady's gonna get the contract that he wants because I think he deserves it. And I understand your point. And business is business, but I think when you got a guy who did so much for your franchise, and he's been taking pay cuts for this franchise for so long, I think, and now you don't have a backup. Granted, that was his fault, but I think you just take care of him. He said during, I didn't watch his documentary, but I heard clips of it. He's like, I just want to be appreciated for once. Like he don't feel appreciated by Belichick, so it's like, all right, well,
Belichick just wants you to do your damn job. I mean, he's not your father,
right?
I don't understand that. You don't need to be appreciated. The fact that you're fucking playing and you're starting shows that you're appreciated. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're starting. He was the only one that thought to even draft you. We almost won a whole draft without even being drafted. And by the way, I think if he goes anywhere else, he's not this great. I don't think I think he would have been a good quarterback anywhere he went as long as he had that mindset that he has. I don't think he's this great anywhere else. So like you gotta show so it's a see, that's why I was thinking it goes hand in hand. It's like like as great as Brady is, I don't know if he ever reaches this type of greatness without going to New England. He might not even be in the league if New England didn't draft him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. Like I don't know. Like I think they should just give him. I think they should give him a 3-year contract. Even if he's not going to play the 3 years, just give him a 3-year contract. He's did so much for that franchise. Just give him what he wants.
Well, contracts aren't for appreciation.
I agree.
I agree. Contracts are for what you can do.
I agree because I criticized when they gave Kobe all that money at the end of his career. So I understand that.
Well, I'm just going by. If I'm doing business, I'm not gonna look at you as, oh, this guy gave us this much. We can do that after you retire. Right now, I'm looking at okay, you're a 40-year-old quarterback. Okay, you're pretty good. You're still
He's damn good. He's still damn good.
You're pretty good still. So you can go at any point. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to give you this 1-year deal. I'm going to give you 1 year. Since we
make him the highest paid.
Well, since we don't really pay anybody, I can give you 20, 25.
They got to make him the highest paid. Like even if you're gonna only give him a 1-year deal,
well, 25.
You got to make him the highest paid.
How much is the highest paid?
28 million.
I'll give you 25. How about that?
No, make him the highest. If you're gonna give him a 1-year deal, if you're not gonna give him what he wants, and you know he's been taking these pay cuts,
25.
If you're gonna give him a 1-year deal,
you
make him the highest paid quarterback for that one season.
Nobody told you to take a pay cut.
Well, no, they did.
They asked you.
They asked him, and he didn't have to. But what I'm saying is, even if you're gonna offer him a 1-year contract, make him the highest paid quarterback for at least that 1 year.
To be perfectly honest, if I'm a GM, they'd be pissed off at me because I would just say thanks for taking the pay cut, but I'm not gonna
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you 20. I'll give you $25 million, and I'll give you $25 million for one season, and you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to get that $25 million. You're going to perform your contract, and you probably and what I'm seeing, which I know we spoke about this, I don't see the future, but I predict he's going to get fucking hurt. That's what I predict. And
I think it's only a matter of time, to be honest.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be this season. I think he's going to be right now.
If he plays a couple more years without getting hurt and then he retires on his own accord, then I'll be kind of surprised. I think it's almost guaranteed that he's going to get hurt at some point, and that's going to be the way it is.
I would, if I'm Tom Brady. I mean, I guess he wants to keep playing. I don't want to get like. He's been playing for a long time. I wouldn't want to play that long. I would just be like, all right, I'm relatively healthy. I don't have any. I don't know if he doesn't have any concussions because he lied about it.
I think he does.
Because he lied about it.
I believe his wife.
I believe his wife too. Yeah. So he lied about it. So I don't want to jeopardize my health anymore. I would just say, okay, this is my last season. If I'm telling you this is my last season, then. If the quarterback tells me that's his last season and you mean it, you don't do no Brett Favre bullshit, you know what I'm saying, then I'll give you the maximum. I'll give you $28 million. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, like, if you're saying, oh, I may play this, I may play again, I'm not going to give you anything but more than a 1 year deal.
Well, but even still,
I want to kind of put you out the pasture.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, at least for one season, say, all right, we're gonna make you the highest paid player this year, regardless of what happens the year after that. Whether he keeps playing this year, I'm gonna make you the highest paid player for one season. We don't usually do this, but we're gonna do it because of what you did for this franchise all these years. You've been this great, so I think that's fair. I don't think it's. I think that's fair. He's asking for that. Y'all asked him to take pay cuts and he did it. He's asking to be appreciated for once in his career. Just give him the punch. Just give him the money. You know he deserves it.
To be perfectly honest, like you're appreciated just by playing on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like all that appreciation stuff. That's all.
The money equals appreciation. So what I'm saying is, if he's still playing at this high of a level at this age,
you're still like, to be honest, you're still 40.
So he's still playing great. I can see if he was 40 and he looked like Drew Brees, where Drew Brees every other year it looks like he's about to retire. He doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like he's close to retirement.
I get your point, but to me, 40 is still 40. You know what I'm saying? I understand your. I'm not doing that. I completely understand your point, but 40 is still 40, and it's nothing emotional about it. You know, like, it's nothing emotional. It's all business. It's business. I am not paying somebody who's 40 years old the league maximum. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're leaving. The only thing I'm doing is trying to make you happy when you're going out the fucking door. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to keep you here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're 40, you're going to retire soon. You know what I'm saying? Way sooner than later. You can retire tomorrow. It'll be a great, and you'll get you'll be a number one guy in Hall of Fame. You're gonna get the fucking jacket and still do the Uggs ads and shit like that. But
yeah, man. All right, well, we'll just leave it at that. But I don't know. It's a lot going on with that New England situation. That we'll just leave it at that. We'll revisit it when more information comes up. But that's it for the podcast. Check out our website. Check out our blah, blah, blah. All right, let's start over. All right. Check out our email address. You can email us at lemarandlj@gmail.com. That's LEMARANDLJ@gmail.com. And check out my other YouTube channel, Textbook Gamer. It's TECH-BOOKGAMER, Textbook Gamer. And anything else?
Next week, I'm going to do an exclusive interview with.
Really? With whom?
You'll find out next week.
Oh, all right. I can't wait because he knows no one. Nah, he has no connects. Nah.
I know people.
Well, all right. Well, guess you gotta stay tuned and find out who it is.
Stay.
All right, y'all later.